Hi, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In today's video tutorial, I will share with you my process for creating my own personal Irish chain variations. I not only change out the main block, but I will show you how to incorporate shamrocks in your quilt as well. During our last session, I showed you how to create a basic Irish chain quilt. But I started to think about how I could freshen up the look of the Irish chain quilt. So here is the block that I used. And I started to think about, what if rather than having all of the pieces be 2 inches finished, what if I changed it so that I based it on a grid where the first row was 3 inches, second row 2, third 1, and then back up to 2 and 3, and did the same thing going down. Then I decided that I would need to change the alternate block as well. I decided to make the corners 3 inches, which was consistent with the last block. And then, because the entire block needs to end up 11 inches, by deduction, the center needs to be 5 inches. So let's go to EQ and start drafting this quilt. So I'm going to go to the home screen and I'm going to select Design a Block from Scratch. And I'm going to go to the Pieced Easy Draw. I am going to create a width and a height of 11 inches, snaps of 11, and I can do graph paper cells of 11, but I don't actually even need graph paper on. I'm going to do snapping options, just snap to grid. So with my line tool, I will draw a line for 3 inches, then go over 2 inches, so that would be at 5. Then the next is 1 inch over, which would be 6. 2 more inches over, which would be 8. And that leaves 3 inches the other direction. And so I'm going to do the same going down. And then I will go to the Color tab and I will color this block. And I will add that to the project sketchbook. Now for the next block, I'll do a new block, Pieced Easy Draw, and I will just do lines at 3 and 8 inches, both horizontally and vertically. And then I can go ahead and color that. And I will add that to the project sketchbook. Now I can go back to my home screen, select Design a Quilt from Scratch, and I'm going to want an odd number of blocks because that works really well when we're alternating blocks. So I'm going to use the horizontal layout, and I'm going to do 5 by 5. I'm going to change the block sizes to 11 inches horizontal and vertical. And then I'm going to go to the Design tab, do Set Block, and I'm going to scroll to the block I just designed. So I'm going to use the Alt key on my keyboard, which will populate that with every other square. And then I'm going to take the last one, use the Alt key, and do the same. And then I'm going to go to the Border tab. I've been designing a lot using 3/8 inch for the binding. So back to the Design tab, the Color tools, and I'll just use that same fabric for the binding and add it to my sketchbook. Now I decided, what if I did something different inside this block? Let's say I put a shamrock, and I was even thinking applique or pieced. So let me go to the block tools and let me open my library, and I'm going to do a search by note card for shamrock. And then looking at the shamrocks, the ones that I decided I liked was this one applique one, so I'm going to select it and select Add to Sketchbook. And I also liked this striped shamrock, so I'll select that and add to Sketchbook as well, and close. So now on the home screen, if I design a block from scratch, and I select Create Serendipity, I'm going to select the type Merge Blocks, and I am going to find that last alternate block that it was just designed, and I am going to insert the shamrock in that and add it to the sketchbook. And I'm also going to take a look at that applique shamrock and add that to the sketchbook as well. And so I can close. Now I'm going to go back to my quilt work table, and I am going to replace this alternate block with the new block. So I'm going to still use my Alt key. And I do need to change out the fabric. So let me go to my Fabric tab, and with the eyedropper tool find this one. And for the other one, I think I'm going to use that. And then I thought about, if I go back to my block tools, what if I played with symmetry? And that just gave me some different rotations. I can also turn Haicho quilt patch lines to see what it looks like without the black lines on it. And so I like that, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to my project sketchbook. Now I'm going to use the set block, and I'm going to take the other serendipity block, which is the pieced one, use that with Alt as well. And let me just zoom in, and I'm going to swap out some of the fabrics. And so let me zoom out, and notice that this one also has the serendipity feature on that. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that to the project sketchbook as well. Thanks so much for watching. To improve your own EQ design skills, consider enrolling in one of my online classes. You can check them out at www.onpointquilter.com.